Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Investor Financing Podcast. Today we're going to talk all about getting in front of your candidates, direct mail, handwritten direct mail, and the benefits that can help your real estate business. It can help your franchise business. It's helping people in almost every industry if you're doing any kind of outreach and marketing to get your information in front of people. So please welcome Rick to the show. Rick is the founder and CEO of Simply Noted. They're based in Tempe, Arizona. Rick was a former collegiate and pro athlete football player. I was researching that, so very cool background. I'm kind of interested in how this came about, where you got the idea of Simply Noted. Where did that come from?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. So my background is in athletics. I was at the University of Arizona for Mike Stoops, and then was lucky enough to live out my childhood dream and go to the NFL for 3 years. After I got done, I had to hang up the shoulder pads and cleats at some point. I got to play for a few years, and then got into corporate sales and marketing for Stryker. Found out that this wasn't what I wanted to do for my entire career. I saw a lot of the upper management were either, divorced or single, and I wanted to have a family and be around my kids. So went back and did my MBA in 2017. And I was in a marketing class about a year into my program. And this is kind of like when the light bulb moment went off, not where the entrepreneurial seizure moment went off, but I was in this 3-hour class, and this professor was talking about the success rates in marketing, and everything was super low. Direct mail, low double digit, emails, low single digit. And after about 3 hours of listening to this lecture, the professor says, "Hey guys, what works better now, if not better than ever, is a good old fashioned handwritten note. They almost get open 100% of the time. It's actually 99.2% of the time. They're rare. They're special. People appreciate them. And they're just a great way to make yourself stand out in business." And I was just like, man, that is an absolute no-brainer. Like, who doesn't open a handwritten note? And I had 400 clients at the time. It's like, if I can get in front of all my clients 99% of the time, that's going to make me more successful. So the entrepreneurial seizure moment came a few months later, after a classmate of mine and myself kind of tested a really bad prototype. We bought a pen plotter from China. It was it had no paper feed. We used 6 different plugins to kind of get it to do what we needed it to do. And I did a little test mailing to some doctors that I was not working with at the time. And my quota at the time was about $50,000 a month. We were trying to sell this new package, a capital piece of equipment. And I sent out 500 handwritten letters. And the response rate was just amazing. And out of the 500 handwritten notes we sent out, I got 28 doctors or so to call me back. In over 6 weeks, I got $280,000 in new sales on a $50,000 a month quota and about 28 grand in commission. So that's when everything changed for me. And there's a lot more to this story, and I'm happy to dive into it. But that's when the nuclear explosion, excitement, I'm going to do this, I'm going to build a business. And then, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears has gone into it since.
That's cool. I've done a little bit of direct mail. So I live in Las Vegas, but I grew up mostly in California, but I started buying properties in Indiana, right by Notre Dame, South Bend, Indiana, because the houses are cheap and the rents are great. And so I did this was years back. I did a direct mail. I was just using kind of regular postcards. And what was amazing is how many calls I got, because at that time they weren't getting hit with direct mail. Now I can only imagine actually thinking about what I'm doing, and then it's a personalized letter.
Yeah.
So obviously it's probably recommended to do the envelopes in handwritten fonts like you're doing, what the actual, your system actually does pen. So it's not printed, it's actual pen. So it looks as real as possible, right?
Yeah, so Simply Noted is the global technology leader when it comes to handwritten notes. We've actually built our own handwriting robot. Anybody who goes to our website, simplynoted.com, and goes to the video tab at the top, you can see our handwriting robots. There are some technologies off the shelf that were built in the late 80s and early 90s. And we've tried everything under the sun. And again, my background is in sales and marketing. I would have never never, ever, ever wanted to build a robot, but I was forced to have to because the technology out there is just not good enough. I think the average consumer now is a lot smarter, more educated, and they can kind of see through the schemes and the software and the handwriting engines of these old technologies. There was too many patterns, and it really did look like a robot wrote it. So we had to build our own. We spent over 850 grand. We're all customer funded, no loans, no debt, no investors. And I mean, the writing robots we have now, the writing is the best in the world. The outputs and the turnaround times and the production times are best in the world. And we know that because we've tried everything and we've improved on what else is out there. So what we try to do, at the end of the day, is help our clients retain and attract new clients. So their current book of business, hit up your current book, at least once or twice a year, if it's not like on an anniversary or birthday, and at least a holiday. That's our busiest time of the year. Or use us for business development. It's just that open rate is so high. We know it does cost a little bit more for this type of marketing channel, but the engagement and read rate is unlike anything else that you're going to do. Everything we do is real pen. We use real stamps. We don't put our logos on it. If you have a list of 6,000, addresses and you want to send, it's just like mail merge, like hi, first name, we are interested in buying your house at address, like we plug in first name in that address. So you essentially can personalize this entire letter down to every single word or letter that we write. So really what we're trying to do is make it simple for our clients or companies or, anybody out there to integrate and automate, so you can use like Zapier, Integromat, or Make, Integrately, an API, automate off of any form or CRM, or just scale it, so if like you want to use some like once a year, hit your entire list or use it as a prospecting tool. That's what we're trying to do. So we're trying to make business a little bit more personal. We're trying to go old school. I really do believe that handwritten is going to make a massive comeback with vengeance. Just we've gone through, everyone's exhausted digitally now. I hate my phone. I literally want to throw it off a cliff. I just get so many notifications, so many emails, so many texts. We went through the digital revolution from 2000 to 2022. Now we're in the AI revolution. And if you really pay attention to all these like private equity firms, they're really starting to make investments in these engagement platforms, these person-to-person type of connection tools. So I really do believe this type of marketing is here to stay, and it's going to just even get, bigger in the years to come.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking, so I do a little bit of investing. My core business is lending. I do all sorts of, commercial lending, and I do, SBA loans, business loans. I have a couple other little kind of divisions within it. And I'm always thinking like, how can I stand out? Like, I think what I want to, for my business, I know a lot of people, it's like predictability, right? Like if I could figure out the right letter to send and I could send out, 5,000 letters and get 3 deals out of it, make X amount of, right? Like it's predictable if you kind of stay with it. I think people fail in direct mail because they just don't stay consistent with it, right? They gotta test different letters, test different approaches. So like when I go onto your system, when I go to your website, do I pick like the font, like if it's cursive, how does that all work?
Yeah, I mean, everything's completely customizable. I mean, you can create your own card, throw your company logo on it, throw a picture, whatever you want. We have 32 handwriting styles. You can create your own, you can add your own signature. We really can customize this down to every detail, add a QR code. I think what we're trying to do is educate people on how to use this tool because, there's a lot that goes into direct mail. How do you track it? You got to use CallRail, you got to use a landing page, you got to use a QR code, you got to have systems for follow-up, right? It's not just a send once and just, cross your fingers, right? It's those are the clients, you just, hey, I just want to send it and not think about it. Sure, you will have some success, but if you want to maximize your success, you got to have systems. You got to have, VAs, who are going to make phone calls, right? You got to have ways to follow up, maybe send a postcard and then another handwritten letter. So I have like a drip campaign. It really just comes down to how, serious or educated, you can be about the project that you're doing or the campaign that you're trying to run. It's just, the more you know, the more success you're going to have. And we try to be a consultant to you on your campaign. So a lot of these larger campaigns, if you're sending more than 1,000 notes, we'll jump on the phone with you. We'll help you create your list. We'll run it through the NCOA, which is the National Change of Address. We can help you save money on postage by, using different types of postage. So we try to be, your ally when it comes to, prospecting, but we also do believe, it's just a phenomenal, relationship building tool. You should absolutely just be sending, a thank you note to your client base. Loyalty is royalty. Like getting these people to be bought into you, when they need a service that you provide, they think of you first, or they refer you to your friends or their friends when they're talking about a service that you provide. So, relationship is really number one. Prospecting should be number two. I mean, that's really how you should be thinking about a handwritten tool. But and I can't deny it. We use it for prospecting every month. It just works. It's just different. It gets open, and it has a longer shelf life. I literally will send a note to somebody and they'll call us 4 or 5 months later. Like, yeah, I've had this on my desk. I've been wanting to call you. Like, what email is going to do that? Like, what text message is going to do that? And that's what I'm really excited about, because I know the value of the product that we're providing. It's just it's unlike any other marketing tool out there.
Hi, this is Beau Eckstein, host of the Investor Financing Podcast. Are you a real estate investor with properties and you're trying to figure out how to refinance or grow your existing real estate business? Need some clarity and a game plan for moving forward? I'm offering a free strategy call where we dive deep on your real estate investing goals. I'll help you come up with a strategic finance plan that will help you get to where you want to go. Whether you've got a portfolio of 30 properties or you're starting out with your first property, I have a framework that has helped many investors grow. If you're interested, book a call below in the Calendly link.
One of my friends, who I help a lot, he calls for advice and stuff on, different real estate stuff. He always, every time I meet with him on the phone, he'll, like, a couple days later, I get a handwritten card, and even, his handwriting is terrible, but it's still, I always think about that it's nice because I get cards for him for like holidays and stuff, and nobody else does it. And it sticks out in my mind, right? And then, so when I close a loan, once in a while I'll send an email, but for me, what would be cool if I could have kind of a standardized template, right? And anytime I close a loan, is there a way to, like, in your system that I can have like templates, and then, like, when I close that, I could just hit input?
That's the core of our business. Yeah, that's the core of our business. So think of any CRM out there. I don't know what CRM you use, but I mean, all the major ones: Salesforce, Pipedrive, HubSpot, Zoho. I mean, any major platform that, is a real business tool we can integrate and automate. So like new customer, new paid bill or whatever, we can set up those triggers, events that are happening within your CRM, and the action, which is what's going to be happening, is sending a handwritten note. And that's like why it's, this industry is, it's very niche. Like, a lot of people don't understand sales and marketing automation. These MarTech tools are very, like, highly, usually it's like the VP of marketing who understands and runs it. So it's like, we have to do a lot of education and say, hey, what CRM do you use? And you use Salesforce? Okay, cool. Like, if you have somebody who is a new client, or they, hit a certain milestone, we can send them an automated thank you note. And they're like, what? Like, no way. Like, yeah, that's what we do. So, that's how we want to help people, because we truly believe, and our best customers are the ones who just use us for thank yous, because they're not expecting an ROI within a week, but they do see it over time. We have customers like literally who've been using us for 4 years, and I've seen their business, like their orders just like literally scale up, which I like to believe, we have an impact on that. We're helping them build loyal relationships. But it's a tool that, people call us with their own ideas, and we help them, accomplish whatever they want to do with our resources.
So the fulfillment's done out of Tempe then?
Yep. So we have, this is getting into the dirty details, but this has been an incredibly hard business to build. It's extremely capital extensive up front. The barrier of entry is just incredible. Mail, the margins are tight. We run our own print shop here. We have our own printing press, our own cutter, score. We have all our own mailing equipment. We have our own postage equipment. All the quality controls done by hand. It's like, we do all our own, we build our own robots in-house. We have our own engineering team. We have our own software developers. I mean, there's a lot happening behind the scenes here. It's not just like, and I think that's the mistake a lot of people make. It's like, oh, I'm going to try to do this myself. And it's like, try it and then call us a year from now when you banged your head into a wall for, you spent, 30 grand and you banged your head into a wall and you just don't want to deal with it anymore. But we do everything in-house. We're a one-stop shop, from design to pulling, mailing addresses to processing your mailing list to doing all the writing, mail fulfillment. We help you take care of everything.
Cool. That's cool. And what on the kind of, not the thank you side, but on the business development side, what kind of industries are you working with currently?
Mostly B2B that I see is like, these software companies trying to connect with like SMBs, or, mid-level business, type of companies. We do see a lot of real estate mortgage using us for like development, direct mail, that type of stuff, home service, so a lot of these like larger ticket item, type of industries. But also we do see it in, political, nonprofit. So, I mean, and that's another hard thing about doing this. It's like niching down and just picking one industry. It's like, well, every industry can use this, as long as it's a relationship matters within the sales process, which I don't know any business where relationship does not matter within the sales process. There are no monopolies out there. So people have choices when they buy. And that handwritten note is just a way to help them stand out, build that relationship, and win that sale process.
Where do most people go to get good data, like good lists? Are there any vendors that
There's so many out there. There's Data Axle, Leads Please. You can work with like your local library. I mean, there's just so many ways to do it. I have people who just get VAs and or go to the courts and like get like public lists. I mean, there's so many ways to do it. I think what you need to do is within your industry is find somebody who's like a leader in your space and try to see what they're doing and just see where they're getting their list. But I mean, data is everywhere. It's not hard to find. It really isn't.
And this system can be, you can import as big a list as you want, or can you also do onesie twosies through your platform and have like a credit card on file and it just debits?
Yes. Yep. So you can go to simplynoted.com and just create one card and send one card. You can automate one card at a time. You can send 50 cards. You can say, hey, here's my list of 30,000. Like literally send 30,000 custom handwritten personalized notes to each individual with a real stamp. I mean, that's really the power of our platform, is scaling it and automating it. I always say it's like, if you're going to do onesie and twosies, if you have it, it's always better to do it yourself, but we can help you send those onesie and twosies as well.
And then you're charged for how many characters are written, and then how does pricing usually work on something like this?
So it starts at $10. Yeah, it starts at $2.67, but goes massively down with volume. So I don't know if you can go to the store and buy a greeting card for $2.67, before that postage and 63-cent stamp. So, I mean, we are extremely fairly priced, for the quality, of our service, the technology that we provide, the turnaround, the SLAs, that we give our clients. We can do about 10,000 to 15,000 handwritten notes a day. If it's just envelopes, we can do about 30,000 a day, and we just scale as we need to. Since we build our own robots, we can just, add more to the assembly line, or the army of handwriting robots out there as we need them.
And you can pick any kind of card or any kind of envelope size, or how does that all work?
Yeah, so our standard size is a 5x7. Just from all the studies out there and just from our own personal test, we see the best engagement rates from a 5x7. It stands out in the mail. If you think about your mail, most of it's like postcards and bills in number 10 envelopes. So when you get a 5x7 card in the mail, it looks like a greeting card. It feels like a greeting card. And when you see handwritten, return address and recipient address and a real forever stamp, you're like, oh, who sent me a handwritten card? So it just, piques our interest a lot more, gets those open rates a lot higher. But yeah, we do custom jobs. We've worked with nonprofits, political campaigns, real estate investors who wanted weird sizes, and we can write on anything from a 3x3, so that's 3 inches by 3 inches, all the way up to a 10x13. So, I mean, we have a really flexible writing platform.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, no, it makes me want to, really think about some campaigns to run, because to me, it's just really, it comes down to like, and I agree with you, like if I would probably just send a thank you note to a client that I just closed their deal and say, in the note, oh, by the way, if you have any referrals, you can, please refer them to me, right? Like that one letter that I spent $2.67 could be, $10, $15, $20,000 commission.
Yeah.
And I'm just not doing it, right? And it's simply noted allows you to build all these systems and platforms that will basically ramp it up. And although I could write that letter, that's not really my highest and best use.
Yeah.
And then I have it's going to come out a lot better.
Your time. Yeah, exactly.
And my handwriting sucks. And my handwriting sucks.
Exactly. So, what's the experience that you're giving your client? Like, my writing sucks. Like, and I've converted my handwriting. And these robots, like, we purposely improved my handwriting because we don't write anymore. It's like you forget how to do it legibly. So, like you just said, like, what's your time worth? Which it's worth way more than what you're going to spend on these notes. And then the user experience, or the recipient's experience. You don't want to give them something where it gives them a headache to read. It's just like they're squinting. Like, this is, uncomfortable to read. You want to give them a pleasant experience, and that's what we're trying to do, is create those memorable, experiences at scale.
I love it. What's something that you like, kind of like a home run you've seen, like maybe your client started a new campaign and they just had, tremendous success. It could be in any industry that kind of sticks out in your mind.
So, I mean, I see a lot of our home service and like real estate agencies. So we work with like the real estate agency level because they have the processes and systems in place to automate this. I'm telling you, it's just saying thank you. Like, and I don't know how many transactions or how many clients before out there, but it's literally thank you. It's just saying thank you. You'll see your reviews go higher. You'll get more referrals. You'll get more loyal clients. But, I've seen people get really creative with those court documents, people who are getting like divorced, like, oh, we want to buy your house. So I've seen people get really creative, it's just, it's all up to your imagination. I don't know your guys' industry, but I just know the people who have the most success and who use us the most consistently are the ones that just literally say thank you. And in those businesses, I'm telling you, I've just seen their orders grow. So I like to believe we have a part in that. I know we have a part in that too, because we send thank you cards to our clients, and it helps us with our client retention and churn rate. So, but yeah, I would say get really creative, do something different. Don't do what everybody else is doing. Don't just, farm the same neighborhood everybody else is farming. If you're going to buy a list, be really creative, like that divorce list. I mean, it's sad, but it's creative. Like, hey, they're probably selling their house. Like, and they're probably going to do it pretty quickly. Like, so, yeah. So just get creative, or just say thank you. Like, do not underestimate the power of just saying thank you. And I know that's huge in real estate. I know a lot of coaches out there are preaching that.
My big takeaway of this episode was like the difference between a handwritten letter is going to get opened, I think you said 99.2% of the time, versus, well, I mean, I don't know what the other verses is, but
33%. 33%. Yeah.
So the ROI is already there. I mean, that's like black and white, that you should definitely do handwritten. There's no question about it, because like if my letter is going to get opened versus getting trashed, then you're that much more likely to get that customer or that past client to open and recognize and then take action.
I think we have, a couple more years before this just becomes such a, normal tool everyone uses. So whoever, like, the user adoption over the next couple of years are the people who are going to benefit the most. I've already seen we're a growing business, so we've seen a lot of growth over the last 5 years, but this is a technology that we've developed. We're going to sell the technology, like there's going to be other businesses popping up. It's a lot of people are going to be using this. So, I saw tons of success in 2017 when I was sent to my doctors when absolutely nobody was doing something like this. And we're preaching it, selling it, we're putting ads on it, we're doing SEO on it, people are becoming aware of it. So it's the early adopters in every industry. Doesn't matter if it's AI, if it was, Google ads in the 90s, it's the early adopters who benefit the most. And I just believe the next 2 to 3 years, whoever jumps in early is going to reap the most rewards, because this is going to become it's going to become a tool in everybody's tool belt that everybody's going to use, because it's just going to be that easy to use.
Yeah, that makes sense. So everybody that's watching this episode here in the future, or listening on Stitcher or iTunes or whatever, if you're in some kind of service-based business, or you have, B2B, this is probably a good idea for you to not only like get a lot of retention, because if you send somebody a thank you card or a thank you note, they're going to think about you in the future. And I know from experience being in sales for 25 years that I made a lot of mistakes. The one big mistake I made was not staying in front of my past clients. I would probably be 10 times more further ahead if I was just sending out regular, once or twice a year. If I was touching them with a letter, right, that would have made a huge difference in my business.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot of information you dropped, and it's making me rethink everything with my business. That like it's really so simple, and I could use MarTech and make everything simplified and get a 99.2% open rate. And if they're going to open it, they're going to at least glance at it and read it, which then the outcome could be great for me. So Rick, really appreciate it. If people are interested, they should go to simplynoted.com and they can figure out how to use the system and get started.
Yep. Just request a sample. We love sending free samples. And when you get it in your hands, just try to smear the ink, lick your thumb and try to smear the ink. And I'm telling you, you'll smile and laugh like, no way was this written by a robot, and you'll get excited, and then we can connect and help you out.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time on the show.
Thank you.
Hey guys, Beau Eckstein here. If you enjoyed what you saw, please subscribe to this channel. We talk all things financing. I've been in the lending industry for over 20 years, and I'm happy to answer your questions and provide great content.